Earlier this morning, I caught up with Winona Mayor Mark Peterson, and we talked about a number of city endeavors. I've got the opportunity to talk with Winona's Mayor Mark Peterson about what is happening around the city. Now, one thing that the City Council addressed last night was a change in zoning or modification of the B2.5 or 2.5 zoning district down along the riverfront. Mayor, what can you tell us about where that is at today?
2 months ago, the City Council did put a moratorium on that area down there around the McNally condominiums, and they wanted to make sure that they got some, because of the change in the ownership of that property and the possible change in use of that property, they wanted to make sure that some of the concerns about parking were addressed, and parking in particular. And so they asked the Planning Commission to take a look at it, and the Planning Commission did, and they came up with some changes to the overlay there. And the council was presented with those changes last night. A lot of questions came up about it. Our city planner was there to explain them to us. A lot of the council members raised questions. I think there were some particular questions about whether or not some of the neighbors were notified about these zoning changes, and they hadn't been. But other questions came up, and I think the council probably did the right thing in postponing a decision and giving us a chance to think about some of what we learned last night and a chance to get some more information at a possible pre-council meeting prior to making a decision. And we felt we had the time. It was a 4-month moratorium, and we're only about 2 months into it, and so we'll probably make a decision at our next council meeting, or our council meeting soon.
A project that a lot of folks are looking forward to is the renovation of the Levee Park bike path. Can you tell us where that project stands at this point?
Well, they said August, and the council did approve this last night. There was bids were put out for it, and the sole bid was approved. And this is an asset that I think everybody in Winona appreciates, and it will be widened, as you suggested, to 10 feet wherever possible. There are a few areas around the West Lake in particular, along Highway 61, where it can't be widened to 10 feet, but it's going to be much improved, and it definitely needs to be improved because there are a lot of areas that it's deteriorated, and this is something that I think all of us that use that bike path around both lakes are going to really appreciate for years to come. And I think the City Council made the right decision there, and we all look forward to having this completed.
This project becomes very important to a lot of people, with the Park and Recreation Department expanding programming down through Lake Lodge. I know a lot of folks really kind of make this a destination on weeknights or on a weekend for things to do with their families.
Absolutely, and the city really appreciates the support from the Coca-Cola Company and the Rotary Club and the citizens of Winona for supporting this project.
A lot of projects going on in the city. I know Levee Park also being looked at to be renovated. Can you give us an update there?
Well, it's been kind of quiet, but there was a committee appointed back in February of interested citizens, and shortly after that, the city approved a contract with the Center for College of Design, the Center for Changing Landscape at the University of Minnesota. And there are 2 individuals, Mary Vogel and Matt Tucker, who are assisting the committee in the process. And 3 weeks ago, they were in town for 2 days, meeting with various committees and city department heads. And they're sort of off and running with this project. And there will be opportunities along the way for citizen input, but they're working on it, and I'm sitting on the sidelines watching the work and anxiously awaiting some of the results of their work. And I think they're in good hands with an enthusiastic leader, and Frank Pomeroy, our retired police chief, and so many other good citizens that are just enthusiastically coming up with good ideas and just following the process. And it's a big job. It's a complicated project, and it's not just the 4 blocks of Levee Park that they're looking at. They're looking at the connections of the park to the trails and the downtown, and how to make that all sort of interconnect and work. And it just, you know, I'm excited about it, and I'm hopeful that we'll get a progress report here that everybody can hear and see.
There's also a project in the back of everyone's mind, maybe more in the forefront for some people, but the new bridge project, and construction is going to begin earnestly on that in 2014. Can you give us a little update on where we're sitting at right now with that project?
Well, we actually had a meeting yesterday in Rochester. Our city manager, Judy Bodway, our public works director, Keith Nelson, and our city engineer, Brian DeFrank, and myself went over to Rochester and met with the new bridge project manager, Terry Ward, and the new regional district engineer for MnDOT, and several other people from MnDOT, and we talked about a number of projects in Winona related to MnDOT, and we also talked about the bridge. And we had another meeting a week ago in particular about the bridge, and there will be a pre-council meeting coming up very soon to update the council about the bridge. There will be possible requests on the city council agenda for municipal consent regarding the bridge in August, if we stay on track. And that is a precursor for any kind of acquisition that would have to start. The goal here is to start this construction next summer and have the new bridge completed by the end of 2016, and the old bridge work start after that, and the completion of that would probably be the fall of 2019 now. It's a long project, but one that I don't think anybody wants to see any delays on. So the planning is going on, and the sooner the acquisition of property can start, the better. And so we'll get the ball going so we can stay on schedule for construction data next summer.